Hey guys, what is up? Big Red Reviews here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about The Backrooms, the new movie from A24, directed by Kane Parsons, youngest director in A24 history. Backrooms is like the internet, one of the defining images of the internet, in my opinion. It was posted on 4chan like 6 years ago, and then Kane Parsons made his YouTube series, which blew up, and ever since then it's been, a thing that a lot of people use to make some unsettling videos and stuff, and there's different lore with the Backrooms, but we're covering Kane Parsons' lore because he's the one making the movie, and he's like most well known for Backrooms content. Side note, I know every video nowadays it's a different scenery. It's because the webcam I usually use to film is what I use for the podcast, because I had some camera problems, so I just use my webcam. I do have another webcam for my videos where I'd be at my actual setup, but this was just easier because I just filmed episode 2 of the podcast, which will be out tomorrow, which is Sunday, because this video will be coming out on Saturday. And yeah, it's about Star Wars, so tune in. Hope you guys have been liking the podcast. It's been really fun, and I can't wait to do more. So this movie is great. Let's just get into it. And now, guys, recently what I've been doing, and what I think I'm just going to keep doing, is just kind of flat out talk about spoilers. I think the first minute of every review I'm going to be doing is just going to be, regular what I liked about the film, but I mean, it's just inevitable to talk about spoilers nowadays, so let's just get into it. This feels like the YouTube videos Kane Parsons made, but better, right? I mean, it has better actors in it. Obviously, it's not Blender made 3D characters. It's actual Oscar nominated. I don't think he's won, but he's a great actor. Actors in this, and it feels just like one of the YouTube videos, which is great. And I love that this fits into the universe and like the lore and stuff, and it just really feels like a big budget YouTube video of his, and I'm just so glad that he kept that vibe. I mean, opening the movie, there's like a 5-minute one take. There is a lot of one takes in this film, as you know. I love one takes, but there's a lot of one takes in the film, kind of like his YouTube series, where it's the found footage aspect of someone in the back rooms, and I just really, that instantly hooked me, and I'm really glad they showed that at the beginning, because there is a good like 20 minutes of just setting up these characters. And I do have a gripe with the film when it comes to that, which we'll get to when we talk about the ending. But I do think, I'm going to say this, everything leading up to the therapist woman, I forgot her name, I think it's Mary, everything that before her going into the Backrooms, it to me is like 10 out of 10. I think it was perfect. We get 3 really good backroom sequences, one which is through the found footage in the opening of the movie. The other one is when Clark goes into the Backrooms for the first time, and the other one is when he brings his 2 coworkers in there to try to map it out more. And I love the analogy this film's going with, like this message, because he talks about, being alone, and I really just resonated with this character a lot. I really did. Because he's someone who is alone and feeling lonely, and there's a great line where he's talking to his therapist, and she's like, "Are you alone?" He's like, "Yeah, I never said." He's like, "I'm not lonely," and she's like, "I never said lonely. I said alone." So there's a difference. My favorite song of all time, Piano Man. That's one of the best lines in the whole song, where he goes, "They're sharing a drink called loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone." And I love that they were like kind of differentiating the two, and I really connected to this character a lot because I do. I have a lot of friends and stuff, and I'm grateful for it. But I am an only child, and love has never really been my true thing. Where it's never worked out for me as of yet. So someone who is alone, and I really get where he's coming from. I just really connected with this character on that sense, and I really like the whole analogy the Backrooms is for him, where the Backrooms can mean multiple things to multiple people, but for him it's like, in the way he explains it, eventually loses himself, where he's like, everything's okay here, like it's okay to just like fall in it, right? Like it's almost like the Backrooms it could be like a analogy for like that darkness, and like that let me just be here and be alone, and she's like, if you want to do that, it's fine, just like get me out of here. And I really like that. I'm sure it's more deeper than that, but that's how I took it. The performances are great. Like I said, the guy who plays Clark is a great actor, and he really makes you feel for him as well. And this has just everything the Backrooms videos and like the lore always has, where it sets things up. We actually do get some surprising big lore drops for the Backrooms, which is cool, because I knew when I saw the movie, the 2 things I was like, I want it to feel like the YouTube videos. Now, I'm not someone who has grown up with the Backrooms, right? Like I didn't grow up like it was one of those things where I knew about him. I've seen some of his YouTube videos and I knew about it a little bit, and it's just always been there in the internet. But when this movie got announced and I saw it was getting really hype, I kind of like binged, and read the timelines and stuff. So going into it, I was pretty knowledgeable. And the lore drops in this is crazy. So now we're going to get into some heavy spoilers because some of my gripes happen right when the therapist goes into the back rooms. And this is when she's going to find her client, Clark. And this is where they start kind of almost revealing some stuff, but not in a good way. So as you know, there are entities in the back rooms, right? We don't know much about them. We just know there is at least 2 kinds from the YouTube videos. And we see some more in here because we see a version of Clark. And basically we find out that the back rooms, it's like almost like a upside down type situation where it's like copying the world. And the way I view it is like it's as big as the world or whatever. I mean, I think it's confirmed to be bigger, but it has room to copy the whole world. But I don't think it can copy it until the place itself sees it, right? Because like the more and more like obviously Clark's furniture store gets copied, but then the other big reveal is that it copies people that are in there. We see this bigger white guy and we see this other guy, and their faces are like kind of glitched onto each other, just like when like if this was in through here, like in the back rooms. And we find out that I guess every person that goes in there kind of gets copied, and we see Clark get copied, and at the end of the movie we see Mary get copied in the interrogation room. And that's just very interesting to me because then that means every person we've seen enter the back rooms in his YouTube video and stuff are out there in a demented form. Now, again, that begs the question, are these monsters like, are they the monsters we've seen? Because my friend made a good point. The monsters you see in the YouTube videos, especially the first one that people call like Siren Head or whatever, those don't look like humans. So I think it's like a Stranger Things type situation where like this, whatever realm this is, there were monsters in here previously, and I can't wait to find out finally like what these are and stuff. But I think they kind of did too much of the monstery stuff, because a good like 10 minutes of this finale is just her running away from the taller Clark guy, and it wasn't that scary to me. Like I think Backrooms, like I think the entities are scary, but like the idea of the Backrooms is just way more unsettling, just because you never know what's gonna happen. And then the movie just ends. I mean, and again, like that can be a pro and a con, because now it's very true to the Backrooms YouTube videos, because like they'll show you a lot of content and they just kind of end, and you don't really get a lot of closure with anything. So on one hand, I get it. It just sucks that obviously Clark, spoiler, dies, and we're with the therapist, and she's getting interviewed by Async, which is the whole government organization or whatever they are that is inside the Backrooms, as we've seen in the videos. And we see this guy who they show, I think, twice throughout the movie, like seeing him through the camera feed, and he's like, holy fuck, there's people in the Backrooms. And I'm like, how'd you get in here? And then he just interviews her at the end, and he's telling her like, yeah, we don't know what this is, like help us out, like, blah blah. And she's like, what are you gonna do to me? And then the movie just ends, and we never get any closure or anything. And I get like that's a very Backrooms thing to do, but like I don't know, we barely saw this guy, and we barely saw the interaction, and then like we just don't see anything else. Like we don't know if she died or whatever. And I don't know. I could see people thinking that's good because it's like the YouTube videos. I can see people like me who I'm like, I kind of wish we got a little better of an ending, or like a little more closure on certain things. Like A24 loves doing this, and I saw the drama a few months ago, and the drama does the same thing where like, the big event happens, the climax, and then it just like ends, and it's like, damn. And I guess like, it's kind of left open-ended for you to figure it out, which is funny. But, I do hope we see some of these characters again, like Mary, and I hope we see the guy from Async in here again. As we know, this takes place in 1990, and the YouTube videos so far have gone up to 1996. So this fits right into the timeline, and I wonder if we'll see some of these characters in the YouTube videos, because as we know, these people are actors, so it's kind of tough, because when he makes his YouTube videos, they're mostly Blender and 3D anime. Now they're very well made because he's able to make it in a way where they do look real. But it's interesting when we have these characters who are actors, if he's allowed to use like even their images, like because like, imagine like he makes another YouTube video soon, and he even has like a flyer for the store, for like the marketplace, where Clark is from. Like, can he use Oscar winner actor's face in his YouTube video, even though it's his creation? Like, that's a whole legal thing. So that's gonna be interesting if we ever hear about any of these characters again. I'm sure there'll be a sequel. This movie only had like a $9-10 million budget, and it's making hella money. I mean, I think they really underestimated just how big the franchise of the Backrooms can be. I mean, some of my friends who I would have never guessed or seen this movie saw this movie, and as much as I've been harping on the ending, this was a very fun film. I do give this film about an 8 out of 10. I think everything before everything leading up to the therapist Mary going into the Backrooms, I think was like a 10. I really liked Clark's story. I liked how him and her had that therapist relationship where she was trying to help him. I liked the three Backrooms sequences we get, which is the beginning, Clark going in there for the first time, and then Clark bringing his two co-workers with him, and they end up dying and shit. I think that was great, and him just like figuring out the Backrooms was really fun to see. And like the ending, I think it was cool. We get some lore drops. Like we get like they can like the Backrooms copying humans. Like that's huge, right? Because we always figured it could copy certain things, and now that the guy at the end, the async guy, and we know from the YouTube videos that there are like rifts opening across the world now. Because originally I don't think there was any, and then async opened it for the first time, and I think ever since then there's been rifts happening around the world. So that explains why there's all this furniture in there and all that stuff. So yeah, I can't wait to see it. But I think this is such a good movie for what it is, and I really think it's so cool that this guy who's like 21 is directing this feature film with Oscar-winning actors produced by A24. He did a great job. I'm really proud of him. I'm sure he was stressed out being that young, and it seems like they had a good team, and I think this is a good step forward. I mean, the same with the guy who did Obsession. Like these younger, like our generation is getting a shot. Some of these studios, like that's why I love A24. They're letting these people give a shot to make these movies, and I mean, they're killing it. And it's just I hope we get more of this quality content. But yeah, guys, that's the Backrooms. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did you like or dislike the Backrooms, or do you even know what the Backrooms is? As always, it's been Joey. Until next time, see you later.